Welcome to Roguecast, the official podcast of Rogues Gallery. We'll talk comics for the week, as well as whatever news is on our pop cultural radar. I'm Randy.
I'm Nick.
This is Dave.
And now, on with the show.
Hello and welcome back to the Roguecast. This week we've got comics to talk about and TV. And
I'm going to talk about an escape room.
An escape room?
Yep.
Our monthly escape room check-in?
Which I did not escape from.
Oh.
I am the ghost of Dave, who is dead.
The ghost of Dave.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Anyway, this is going to be a special Halloween-themed episode.
It is Halloween, right?
It's where we're right in the ballpark of it.
Because there are like there's like 3 or 4 big horror movies out right now. There's like Obsession and Hokum, and I feel like there's another one.
The Backrooms is about
to come out. So like
Hokum is actually coming out on digital next week.
Oh, well, I mean, that's
I think it's already. I think it did wrap its theater run.
It's crazy. Things don't last long.
Yeah, it's kind of rough. I realized like a lot of that stuff. I'm like, oh, I want to see this, but it's a smaller movie, and I'm like, if I don't see it in a week or two, it's gone.
Yeah. I think Project Hail Mary is still in theaters, though, right? That was a big success.
And it's on digital.
Right, that's
right, but it was a big success.
I think the only horror movie that I'm like locking in plans is to see Resident Evil.
For sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I literally might actually go and visit my friend Liz in New Hampshire since we've seen all the Zach Kreger movies.
I see.
And so...
Did you see the interview with Zach Kreger about the reaction to the Resident Evil? People were like, this isn't Resident Evil, this is raw. And he's like, no, it's not. If I made a Resident Evil that was just a by-the-book thing, I would be bored. So he was like, I'm doing my own thing, and I'm okay that you're pissed.
Yeah, I've seen that there's like some legit backlash, but I've also seen like a lot of support. A lot of people like his movies.
Yeah.
But I would say I almost get it in the sense of like the games are generally about like kind of some badass going up against zombies. Yeah. That is what is going on. He is as if like the player himself got pulled through the screen into it.
That's what interests him.
And that I think is fun. But also, by the way, there are some of those games. I want to say like the you know when they did the Grindhouse type ones that were first person games in the last like 2 or 3 or whatever. I think even those did that lead have the ones that was like with Lady Dimitrescu and stuff like that. Is she in that one?
I think.
But anyway. Those, I don't think you were, like, such a badass in them. Like, it felt more like you were, like, almost like, well, at least in the stuff that I played of it, like you were a person who was, like, a barely surviving person in a Texas Chainsaw movie.
I'm going to be honest. I never finished a single Resident Evil game.
Not even the first one.
Mm-mm.
I have to say, that was one of the most, my great gaming experiences. But I'm also, like, it is kind of like the way they had, like, the save system where you can only save in certain rooms. Actually... It was weirder than that. You had to get these ink ribbons and find find typewriters, and you could save around the typewriter.
Yep.
Anyway, I played the first 2 games, Resident Evil 1 and 2, liked them a lot, and then I kind of was done. I've dabbled a little bit since then, but I don't think I've played any since those days. Anyway, yeah, I don't think any of us find Resident Evil such a precious license that we're like... mostly I'm just like, oh, let this dude go hog wild.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly wouldn't care if it wasn't very Resident Evil at all, as long as it was a good movie. But I think it is going to have, like, some cool Resident Evil shit in it.
I think so, too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Before we get to this week's podcast, I want to mention that we have a new tutorial on how to use Manage Comics. So you can manage your file online, order variant covers, make sure your subscriptions are up to date. Our staffer Jeanette put together a tutorial, which you can find on our website in the events and news section.
Yep. I believe she is the one of us who is actively using it.
Yep.
Whereas I think kind of our own comic purchases tend to be more like we're going to get a graphic novel or 2 each week or every other few weeks.
I get the weekly emails because I do get some singles.
But do you? Okay. You're crazy.
I know.
I am buying everything because I order everything.
Yeah, you should see his email list. It's very long.
But I don't use the subscription system.
Yeah.
It's the Shopify thing that I draw a huge X through.
Yeah, that's my list. And we are now exactly 1 month out from Free RPG Day.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I always look forward to seeing what they're putting out for those. For people, like I think a lot of people who listen to this have been to them before, but basically you'll have a lot of companies, putting out either a short adventure or a kickstart rules kind of thing for it, or like Jumpstart, I should say, rules. Sometimes there's some promo stuff like dice and things too, but it is cool. Like, and I always want to see who's participating. Is there a Warhammer 40K adventure? Is there going to be one for what's that scary like it's like Aliens and esque game now, but not Aliens. Sorry, it's an indie game, hardcover. Also inspired by what's the horror video game space games Dead Space.
Oh, Dead Space.
Yeah, it's the one we've been selling it on the regular, but like
God, is it the
yeah
now I blanked on it. Vast Grim.
no
Okay, I was gonna say that didn't sound
but also that does bring up like, will there be a Morkborg one? That'd be cool.
probably. Who knows?
God, I would hope so. Let's reach the.
Mothership.
Mothership, that's
Yeah,
the one.
yeah.
I'm like, and I'm just naming random things, but I'm like, I know not all of these are going to have a representation.
No, if they don't, you can punch Dave in the face.
But yes, you can do that. You can do that if you want total retaliation.
Oh, I see.
I will unleash the furies of hell on you.
Oh, no.
But you can do it.
I honestly feel like every year they've gotten kind of crazier with their like ancillary things,
Yeah.
not just the adventures, but there are like cool D20s that are like the metal ones that were from like last year. I don't know what
Or
they're
like a
doing.
little promo dice tower or something like that.
dice towers. There's miniatures that are like D&D, but like I think last year was the guy from Ravenloft. Why am I blanking? Strahd, thank you. I think it was a miniature of Strahd that we only got like 2 or 3 of them. People were calling about like, do you have this? Are you going to have this?
I believe as a general rule, we can't hold stuff.
No, we cannot.
You got to show up on the day, or if you can't make it, you got to get one of your friends or hire a prostitute to do it. Just whatever you have to do.
Wow. Okay, we're going hardcore all of
wow.
a sudden.
Okay. We got some games in this week. I'm just gonna roll right past that.
Probably is best. It's probably best.
It's a smart play.
We got a game called Pyramid.
Yep.
Yes.
It's a family game with a push your luck mechanic where you're taking the role of grandchildren, helping grandma put all her kittens to bed.
Yes.
It's very cute.
I looked at this one. It looks adorable. Go ahead and get it for your cat-loving family.
Yep. We got Heat Legends. Legends are the automated drivers you can add if you don't have like a full racetrack.
Oh.
And this
I didn't know
adds
that was a thing.
This adds different decks so that they will be like more aggressive and interesting drivers.
And when you say automated, I assume there's like some little algorithm, or it tells you what to roll and it auto does certain things.
Yeah,
the way the monsters ran in like the D&D
I think it's
board
like
games.
it's like a deck you shuffle together and you play. It's a little.
It's just frustrating when they win.
Yes.
I was like, man, if I lose to the bots in those, I'll be heartbroken.
We finally got the expansion for SETI, which is the Search for Extraterrestrial Life game. Space Agencies, which introduces 3 new alien species and some new institutions that are searching for alien life. I've not played this game. I know it's a bigger, more complicated game. People have been excited about the expansion for this.
But yeah, SETI itself was very popular when it originally came
I have to point out,
It
it's a
was-
search for extraterrestrial intelligence.
Whatever.
It's the search for extraterrestrial life. It's settle.
Look, we have to settle at this point.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I feel like we're at the very worst point for aliens to possibly find us.
Or the best.
Or the best if they're conqueror aliens.
Yeah.
I'm like, do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
You want some Akax?
Yeah, like I dare you to take over. Do whatever you
We
gotta
still do it with some style and some humor.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Those aliens had like shimmering gowns.
They did. They had shimmering grounds.
I welcome our Independence Day.
Welcome to Earth.
Yeah, actually, literally welcome to Earth.
Much more genial one. Randy's helping him out of the ship.
Welcome to Earth. Here's our president.
I can tell you directions. I've got names.
I've got a list.
Yeah.
Take me to your leader. Takes on a whole new.
Yeah,
Just like, here you go.
Happily.
Not bothered by your squiddy arms. It's cool.
Yeah.
You got that dude from Men in Black that grunts a lot? I'll talk to him too.
The dude from Men in Black who grunts a lot.
You know what I'm talking about. Nick, you know what I'm talking about.
Vincent D'Onofrio?
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Oh,
yes.
okay, yes. Dude who grunts. He's a space cockroach,
I don't know
Dave.
what his character is.
He's a space cockroach.
I don't know.
Dude who grunts a lot was not on my list of things I would say.
Nick knew what it was.
Yeah, Nick got it.
Also, by the
Congratulations.
way, I think I've only seen Men in Black once.
Really?
So, yeah.
Man, I watched Men in Black so many times.
I didn't watch it like in the 90s. Like I
Okay.
came late to this. I think I felt like I wasn't gonna like it.
Yeah.
And I watched it and I did like it, but
You liked
I don't
it so much, you saw it once.
I don't love it. That
He's
said,
more
it's
of a-
been on the store, at the background at the store a million times, so I've seen lots of parts of it.
Okay.
He's a bigger fan of Men in Black 2.
Yeah.
Am I?
No one is.
No, it is. Does that star Man Who Grunts a Lot?
No, Man Who Grunts a Lot isn't in the second one.
Oh, no.
That has...
I forget, does he get blown up in the first one?
I thought maybe you meant Tommy Lee Jones, because he does kind of grunt a lot.
yes, Vincent D'Onofrio
Yes.
gets...
He gets
blown
exploded.
apart.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
From the inside.
Yeah.
Really, by the way, Vincent D'Onofrio gives every role his all, and
yep,
I
yep.
have
True.
much respect
They
for
did the
it.
Chameleon, too. He
is.
played a space cockroach and Kingpin.
Yes.
Not at the same time.
Kingpin grunts a lot, too.
Kingpin grunts a lot. He does, actually. I think, Dave, you may have found
His acting technique.
Vincent D'Onofrio grunts a lot.
I
Yeah.
don't know. You could say that Kingpin is kind of a cockroach.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He can't be killed.
Right.
Always comes back.
Yeah.
Yep. And a common denizen of New York City.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Quintessential New Yorker.
Kingpin and a space cockroach, basically the same guy.
Agreed.
We got Boop Shuffle, which is a card game version of that Boop game. where
Boob
you-
shuffle.
not what you heard.
I'm pretty sure I heard boob shuffle.
Nope, Boop Shuffle.
That's the
It's where you're trying to get 3 kittens in a row.
Yep.
It's usually like a little bed thing. This is a card game version
Do we
of
need
it.
to have like another section of the store that's for the kitten games?
Yeah, we don't. We should.
Yeah.
We don't have room for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excalibur, which is a up to 8 player party game. So this is like a werewolf
Yep.
mafia kind of thing. You're trying to find Excalibur and keep it safe in your virtuous, that's with quotes, hands. Bluffing and subterfuge, using the power of Arthurian legends to keep it safe from the other would-be kings around the table. So
That was the problem back in the old days. Is they had what's the word that they put in quotes?
virtuous.
Yeah, not everybody at the round table. Everybody at the round table was quote virtuous.
Quote virtuous. Yes. We got the Three Sisters Harvest Edition. This is a roll and write about backyard farming.
Weird.
But it's an award winner. It's been very popular. This is one of like deluxe components. and stuff.
Roll and Rights are very cool games, and if people haven't tried them, they should try it. And I long ago learned to stop judging games by like whether it had a cool topic or not. Like there could be a version, a roll and write that's about like criminal bank heists or
Yep,
whatever.
yep.
I'd be like, that sounds great. But this one that's about like backyard farming is probably like the better game.
Let me give you a sentence here.
Okay.
Corn provides a lattice for beans to climb. The beans bring nitrogen from the air into the soil. And the squash provides a natural mulch ground cover to reduce weeds and keep the pests away. Doesn't sound like a fun game, but
No.
I'm sure it's a blast.
Right, because what they have just described is a sort of a chain of farm item farming and things
Yep,
you have
yep,
to do
yep.
to make to get one thing to the other. That sounds cool.
There's Lost in Adventure, The Curse of Jack Parrot, which is a co-op narrative board game. It says ideal for those who love graphic adventures. So this is like
Like an old
those point and
LucasArts
click-
game or
Yeah, that
something?
kind of thing. Exactly.
What's the title of it again?
Lost in Adventure, The Curse of Jack Parrot.
Was it The Curse of Monkey Island or whatever? That
Yes.
was their big breakout one?
You're
Yeah.
following the footsteps of the infamous Jack Parrot on a journey through mysteries, dangers, and ancient legends. You place cards side by side, collecting items, talking to characters. So it's kind of like those backstories that we got, the ones that were like the emerald thing,
Yeah.
and the one where you're a sister trying to find her brother in this Arctic thing.
Yeah.
So it's definitely like a point and click adventure kind of thing.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. TMNT Unmatched, the co-op version of Unmatched that features the Turtles and Shredder. We got the Extra Toppings mini pack, which basically gives you figures for all the sidekicks and minions, and alternate versions of the Turtle, Shredder, and Krang.
Oh, nice.
So basically, it's other miniatures.
Yeah, it's like 20 miniatures.
Yeah. This is one of those things was a Kickstarter upgrade,
Yeah.
but it's a bunch of cool minis, and their minis are good.
They are.
Chingon is an engine building and resource management game. You're placing cards on your city boards to produce resources.
Okay.
I think it's probably named after a Chinese city.
I
Okay.
would imagine
Sounds
so.
good.
Pirates of the High Teas is a whimsical set collection game in which you are competing to win the captain's treasure by serving the most delicious afternoon tea.
This is a Our Flag Means Death type of fun game.
It's a worker placement game. There's a bottle of rum expansion that includes wooden rum tokens and 4 new captain cards.
Nice.
BattleTech Hotspots Darkonos Reach. It's another source book for running a mercenary force in the Ill Clan era.
Okay. Yeah.
Really don't love how often they use the word clan, but
I know.
Yeah.
I know. There's cool like Scottish barbarian clans and
Yeah,
like there's so
yeah.
many cool ones over the years. You got to take it back.
yeah,
But it's easier to take it back when it's not resurging.
right.
And the best way to do that is, of course, to decapitate the Resurgence.
Yes, yeah.
So keep that in mind. Please decapitate all Klansmen.
Right. We welcome our Independence Day.
Yes.
And then...
I will point the grunting cockroach man at the Klansman.
Call of Cthulhu, Campfire Tales, Scouts Against Cthulhu.
Yes, okay.
This is your scout investigators.
Wait, this is an actual Call of Cthulhu game?
Yes.
Yeah.
You are scout investigators going to face to face with dangers from beyond the world. So it's
Just double checking. This is for the role playing game. It's not a board game thing.
it's a role playing game. Yeah,
That's very cool.
it's like the one they did. They did the Roman one. That's different, but they did another one that's like in the realm. There's like a pirates one, and
Yeah.
there's one that's like in the world of noir or something.
Yeah. I guess the original one is basically noirish. Although
Yeah, but I
this
think it's
may
like
be
more
lean
deliberately,
into it.
yeah. And there was like Cthulhu by Gaslight. I think
You know how the standard setting is usually like the 30s and stuff like
Yeah,
that in the basic one. When I think that's like kind of not too far from when like when Indiana Jones was he like an Eagle Scout or whatever in that opening sequence of like the third Indiana Jones.
the third one where he learns everything that makes him a person in one day.
Yeah, it was the model for Smallville
Yes.
to do like 10 seasons. They're like we could do this for 10 seasons. But yes, he got everything that happened that one day.
Yep.
But yes, you'd be like playing like Indiana Jones freaking Eagle Scout versus Cthulhu. That's
That'd be cool.
I think I'm still putting my money on Cthulhu.
Oh yeah. It's probably.
But like,
spicy.
what if you came at him from the side?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. What if they use the ability to make fire?
I mean, it will be fun to make.
Listen, as much as there is a tradition of going crazy with the Cthulhu stuff, the original story, The Call of Cthulhu, ends with Cthulhu trying to rise up and being sent back to the sea when a guy in a steamer ship, I think, rams into him, and he uncoheres right at the and there's like they can't like recreate
So
their,
you're saying
their ritual.
Cthulhu kind of sucks.
What I'm saying is his
powerful.
weakness is a steamship rammed into him.
Cthulhu is he's vulnerable. If the Titanic were to fight Cthulhu, the Titanic would win. Actually, they both lose.
I don't know if it's got the speed. To
So
get
his character sheet has a weakness steamship.
Yeah, he takes
kind
3
of.
times damage from steamships.
in Austin Powers when he runs over the guy with like the steamroller
Yes,
or whatever
yeah.
like that. That's what
Extremely
the Titanic
slowly.
approaching Relia is like. Cthulhu's like freaking out. It's like 3 miles away.
You know what I want?
Yeah.
Where's my 70s Cthulhu? Disco Cthulhu.
Disco and funk and like Shaft style.
Call of Disco and Funk. Yeah.
Man,
Shaft
yeah.
versus Cthulhu.
Yep. There's like I'm trying to think like what other stuff was going on in the 70s because I do think like all of that stuff could be cool. You could have a Vietnam vet in the group. You could have
Cthulhu running porn in New York City.
yes, all the like a Warriors type of character, like a sort of a thematic gangbanger kind of dude.
Yep. Somebody from Detroit and Motor City.
Yep.
What else happened in the 70s?
I don't know.
I don't know. Cthulhu's behind
Stagflation.
Cthulhu versus Stagflation.
yeah.
Cthulhu causes the gas crisis. Anyway, this Scouts of Cthulhu sounds fun.
It does. And we also have some new ideas to pitch.
Some new ideas, yeah. All right, let's talk about comics for the week. We are about to hit Pride Month, which means it's time for Pride Comics, and we have 2 this week. We've got Star Trek Celebrations, which has, I think, about 6 or 7 stories from different eras and sets of Star Trek of all their queer characters. So, Lower Decks, the original character that they have in their comics.
Did I hear that there was like a Sulu one, which was like I guess sort of the movie Sulu?
There
where
is
they
a movie
kind of-
Sulu one. There is Jaden, the Klingon from Starfleet Academy.
Yep. Who's a great character, by the way. Everybody
there's-
watch Starfleet Academy. It's going to get at least one more season. Watch that.
There's a 7 of 9 and
Raffi.
story from Picard.
Yep.
And there was one more. There's a nurse Chapel and a girlfriend that she has. It looks like.
Oh, that's it. You know what? The newer thing did just sort of very lightly drop at some point that she was some stripe of bi.
Okay.
That was mentioned in like some just casual conversation.
And then we have Wiccan and Hulkling, Raid of Ultron. There was a whole Wiccan and Hulkling miniseries that just did really, really well.
Yep.
And so this has like a Young
It's
Avengers
like their
story.
anniversary, I think.
Yeah.
And I want to say that like Ultron comes crashing it. I am told. I think this is the linking thing in the stories to kind of recapture Vision and Vision. For nefarious purposes.
Yep.
And I think they're like, we're trying to have a wedding anniversary here. We're gonna have to kick your ass, Ultron.
What's interesting is that it's 4 different stories, but they're all linked stories. So it is one story by 4 different people. Yeah,
I'd be interested to read that because sometimes the anthologies can be a little scattershot. You know, you don't have a lot of time to develop a story, but they're linking them sounds kind of cool.
But if you want to meet Ultron's rebellious teenage daughter, Ultronica, apparently that's in the story.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
Because, Viv is Vision's daughter.
Yeah, that's true.
So they're going to have a father-daughter battle.
There has always been, they outright mentioned weird Oedipal stuff with the original Ultron and, creating Jocasta and, there was some weird Oedipal stuff going on in those early ones, too. So that he has always had a weird family dynamic. Ultron is a very ancient Greek tragedy robot.
Yeah. He's got his bride, Jocasta.
Yep.
Doomquest #1. This is from Ryan North, who is also writing The Flash, also writing Fantastic Four. Yep. This is a story with really nice art by Francesco Mobili.
It is nice.
This is Doom getting lost in time. Basically, it looks like
he creates a project that's like some sort of time control device.
He's gonna rebuild the timeline to make himself more powerful.
Right. He's what you know what's interesting? I thought this was a neat bit of writing. I just read the first third of it or something right before this. He is literally watching this story about Reed Richards.
Yes.
Saying that that so many trillions have died over the millennia on Earth for all the terrible things that mankind has done, and he sort of says he's I think our highest calling would be able to adjust the timelines and save all those people.
Yeah.
And I was that's first of all, Reed, slow your roll. All right? That's how you get the maker. Okay.
Yep.
But anyway, he's talking about this, and the audience is yay, Reed, and Doom is fool. He's Doom would do a better job of this, and so Doom gets it in his head to do that. But I guess it doesn't work out perfectly for him either.
Yeah.
I don't know in what way it goes wrong.
It sounds like I think he's gonna get lost in time.
But I'm Doom, man, you just in college when you were trying to copy Reed's work. He doesn't even realize it.
DC's doing some new Elseworlds. This is called Superman, Father of Tomorrow, and the short version is that Jor-El instead of Kal-El winds up stuck on Earth.
Yep.
And he's adoptive brother to Jonathan Kent instead of adoptive son.
Yep. The way this was pitched in their solicit was kind of him as science hero. They likened him to Mr. Terrific and even Doc Savage, where he's kind of bringing some scientific discipline to the superhero adventuring.
There is one weird bit thing where it seems like they maybe have a page without dialogue. We couldn't tell if it was a misprint or just a weird
some avant-garde
choice.
thing, and we were missing the point.
Yeah.
But I think it might
weird.
be a misprint, and we're waiting to hear.
We haven't heard anything about
Certainly,
it. So.
usually, if that is the case, if there's a big enough misprint, they will just reprint it.
Yeah.
But we don't know yet.
We don't know. We have Did You Hear About Mimi Green from Dark Horse? And this artist who looks a lot like Acuna or
Daniel
Phil
Acuna?
Noto.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got that kind of painty vibe.
Yeah.
But it's got its own style, too. Nick, you read this and really liked it.
I did. It's about kind of a person who...
like a social media influencer?
Yeah, and she commits kind of a cardinal sin and gets called out on it, kind of fat-shaming somebody.
Yeah.
And she kind of retreats from public life to a...
It's some sort of wellness
guru kind of, but inpatient style.
Right.
And
it's meant to be one of those sort of reputation-saving moves, right?
Yeah, but there's something odd about this place, and...
Horror odd?
Yeah, there's definitely something horrific about
So,
it.
Run by a grunting man?
Yeah, yes, definitely run by a grunting.
The guy who writes
for you.
The guy who writes this runs the podcast Cerebro, which is a podcast about X-Men.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I don't know. I thought it was a really intriguing first issue, featuring a main character that you can both love and hate.
Yeah, I was asking you off mic. I was is this about a social media influencer who's a bad person and who's going to get what they deserve, or is it about a social media person who just kind of oopsed at some point and we can kind of root for her? And it sounds like right now they're sort of walking the line.
Yeah, walking the line. But a lot of it for me was the art. It's just spectacular. It's very just kind of when it delves into the horror, it's very horror out there kind of. A blend of kind of the excess of the substance.
Okay, yeah.
So
I
it's kind of
need to
that
see
body
at some
horror
point.
Craziness. But it's a really intriguing first issue.
Ah.
Yep.
Good lord.
Yep, like I said, it's out there.
So R.L. Stein has a new book from Boom called The Life and Death of Lucas Dreamwalker, which has art by Francesco Francavilla. Really nice.
Yeah.
Starts
It's
off
another one of those compiled from that horror anthology.
Okay, it starts as a Western and then turns into being like the 20s, and it's like he is literally a dreamwalker and he keeps dying in his dreams.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that the tagline for this was something like, how many times can you die in a dream before you die in real life, or something like that.
Yep.
And there was some interesting sounding components to it. And yeah, it's Francesco Francavilla, who is a good artist.
A new BRZRKR, that's as Keanu Reeves as Berserker. Different writers on this one. It's someone named Susan Butler and China Mielville.
Yep.
Who's a novelist, yeah.
But they
Like
wrote
an
the novel
award-winning-
together.
Yeah.
Keanu and him
Yeah.
wrote it.
I heard this is like maybe in the Bronze Age or
Is that,
something
that's
like
what it looks
that.
like, yeah. It's a story of the Bronze Age.
Art is
Really nice
beautiful.
art. Yeah.
There's a little baby Keanu, which is weird. But
I was
like,
reading the solicit, and it sounded like there's like amidst like on some level this is like about a badass Keanu action movie kind of character who's like an immortal warrior, but it sounded like there was meant to be some kind of, and this sort of fits with the sci-fi writer China Miéville in there, that there's like also some stuff that I think is maybe meant to push some idea, some concepts.
Oh
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
The novel
But I don't know what they
Yeah.
do. I don't
The
know.
novel
what's-
definitely pushed it into sort of what I've never read another China Miéville
Yep.
book, but it was a little bonkers.
Okay, yeah, that's-
Okay.
That's-
I mean, I think that's the vibe, right?
Yep.
Yeah. We have the Facsimile edition of JLA Avengers #1.
Right. This is the last sort of really big hurrah Marvel DC crossover before the recent ones.
Right.
This goes back to I believe 2004 or somewhere something like that.
I think that's right.
And
print forever.
it's been out of print forever. It was like a very much a dream team from Kurt Busiek, who had in the 90s was just coming off of in the early 90s he did Marvels, but he had also had like a very notable long run on Avengers
yeah.
with legendary artist George Perez, who reunited with him for this.
Yep.
For a project that had been like teased and worked on and then withdrawn since
Yeah,
like,
George
the
Perez had
80s.
drawn a script from somebody else.
Yeah, it was like the 80s
Yeah.
era Justice League and stuff. So cut ahead 20 plus years or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yep.
And
This is a really nice format for this reprint.
It's
it was
it's the
beautiful
prestige
reprint.
format.
It's that prestige format. It has like a glossy cover, but like on nice cardstock.
so they're doing. Is it 6 issues?
It's 4 issues.
4 issues.
Yes. And for people who haven't read it before, it Busiek does he indulges his love of the lore, the same way kind of Mark Waid might have, such that you see multiple timeline eras of the groups meet and confront each other, sometimes as allies, sometimes as enemies. But you'll see JLA from the Satellite era, JLA from his own era, JLA from Grant Morrison's era, JLA from the Silver Age, and the same for the Avengers. He wanted to make sure that George Perez had to draw every one of these characters in multiple incarnations.
Yep.
I think Perez wanted to draw.
He did.
multiple
He
incarnations
did.
of all
That
these
dude was
characters.
constantly picking crazy projects with casts of hundreds and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I mean,
There's so many good little character moments in here,
Yep.
and there's more coming. They cross over. They do some interesting stuff about the DC universe being one thing and Marvel universe being another. And
right. Yeah, they kind of overtly discuss some of the things about them having kind of
if
different energies.
If you've never read this or heard about it and never read it, check it out. It's going to go fast.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Also, we got a facsimile of Saga of the Swamp Thing #21, the second issue of Alan Moore's run.
It is technically the second
Yes.
issue, but most people would consider it the first,
Yeah.
since the real first one was literally just him tying up the loose ends of the previous writer.
Right.
This starts the anatomy
Yeah,
lesson.
the only thing that happened notable at the end of that first issue is that Swamp Thing gets shot in the head and killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all.
Which seems pretty permanent, but it's
But
not.
this issue is one where this is the start of Alan Moore's fame.
Yeah.
This is what put him on the radar for everybody in 1985. I actually mentally I thought it was a little earlier in the 80s, but I saw it was 84 or 85. Yes. So it's the story about Swamp Thing. One of his enemies, Jason Woodrue, the Floronic Man.
Yep.
Who this kind of skeevy rich old bastard. Who had Swamp Thing shot, and I forget. I think he's trying to figure out if some of the information that Alex Holland that's inside his body, that if it can be used to extend his own life or something like that. And so he gets the Floronic Man out of jail, and he's like, "I know you. You're a smart guy. You know about plants and stuff. You know about Swamp Thing. I want you to do some research on this corpse." which you see him, like, Swamp Thing is in the freezers of this, like, super high-tech building, riddled with bullet holes, including one right through his head. And Woodrue, in many ways, is like the main narrator of the story, which would forever change what Swamp Thing is.
Mm-hmm.
And arguably, there is something to be said for, like, well, that's kind of disrespectful to the original Swamp Thing creators, Len Wein and who's it, Bernie Wrightson. Because, in the classic Swamp Thing days, he was just a lot like the Hulk in the old 70s TV show. He was this muck monster who was kind of always helping people out, but looking for a cure for his hateful condition. That was like the cliche, and he ran into horror-type foes and stuff, but he himself was looking for a cure.
They made an indelible movie starring, is it Heather Locklear?
Yep, Heather Locklear. Yeah, Wes Craven, early Wes Craven.
I mean,
Wait, was it Heather Locklear? Adrian Barbeau was in the Swamp Thing
you're right.
movie.
First one, I think that she might have... Heather Locklear might have been in the Swamp Thing 2.
Was it Return to the Swamp Thing?
It was definitely was Adrian Barbeau in the first one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unless it's flipped.
No, it's Adrian Barbeau in the first one.
Ever after
it's Heather
this
Locklear
one,
in the Return to the
Swamp Thing would be revealed as a creature of, like, pure plant matter and stuff like that, and eventually tied to, like, as an earth elemental. There are some wild ideas in here. It is written, like, in a really amazing style. It's very ambitious. Even the opening page is noteworthy.
Yep.
It had art by Steve Bissette. So, like, there's a reason this is kind of a legendary issue.
This is one of those, if you haven't read it, you want to read it.
You need to read the anatomy lesson.
Yep,
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, even I am not as big a fan of the Swamp Thing run as most people, but this is great.
Yep.
By the way, confirmed, Heather Locklear plays Abby Arcane.
Yep.
In the Return of the Swamp Thing. But let me give you a couple things. First of all, do you know the name of the man who plays Swamp Thing?
No.
His name is Dick Durock.
Great. Love it.
And then the Rotten Tomatoes synopsis.
That's a rockabilly guy, right?
Yes, for sure. Dick Durock. And then the Return of Swamp Thing has a log line I can see from Rotten Tomatoes here. A mad scientist, vegetarian stepdaughter falls in love with one of his leafy failures.
Oh, man.
Perfect. No
That
notes.
is like the snarky Netflix.
It really is. It's
version.
fantastic. Yeah.
Hey, as a kid, I liked that movie. So
It's a PG-13 Miramax movie from 1989.
Yep.
Made for $3 million.
Wait.
Yeah.
No, it came out in the early 80s.
This is the Return of Swamp Thing.
Return of Swamp Thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Return of Swamp Thing came in 89. Directed by Jim Wynorski.
I believe one of the reasons I, as a kid, liked the original one, or at least I think I only saw parts of it, like on HBO and stuff like that. I don't know if I ever sat down and just watched the whole thing all the way through. Is because it had a combination of monsters and a little bit of scantily clad women.
Yeah, for sure.
Notably, though, I always remember, I remember literally talking about this with the kids in my elementary school. The scene at some point, Swamp Thing gets captured. He gets his arm cut off by some bad guys, like with a machete or something like that. Like when they capture him, he's kept in there like some sort of underground dungeon, and he is all half dead, but he kind of wriggles into the sunlight, which allows him to start growing, and a little twig comes out of his arm stump, and then leaves spring out from it, and it starts to grow, and eventually he gets his whole ass arm back. And I think as kids, this blew our mind.
Yeah.
This was
it
grisly,
sounds really cool.
but also super cool. And then Adrian Barbeau's tits.
All right, I know this is a bit of a diversion
Yes.
here, but the guy who directed this,
Yes.
Which one, the original or the Return?
the second one,
Okay.
is named Jim Wynorski,
Yep.
Yeah.
a 25-year veteran in the Hollywood exploitation field. He worked with Roger Corman.
Okay.
Yeah.
This guy's made a movie every at least one movie every year, often two movies since
He's like, it's not even that hard.
since 1984, all the way up through 2024. And I'm going to read you all some of these movies. By the way, he has one movie with a 9.0 rating. Nothing else gets it higher than 5 point something.
Okay.
And I can't wait for you to guess which one is the 9.0.
Okay.
He started with The Lost Empire. Then he made Chopping Mall. You guys know Chopping Mall?
I'm aware of it.
aware
Yep.
of it,
So
yeah.
he made Chopping Mall. Then he made Deathstalker 2, Duel of the Titans.
Okay.
That's one of these Conan knockoffs.
Okay.
Big Bad Mama 2, Not of This Earth. Then The Return of Swamp Thing, which is really what's shot him up into...
Yep.
then Transylvania Twist. I'm not going to read everything. Sorority House Massacre
No,
2.
I need the 100 or so thing.
976 Evil 2. Scream Queen Hot Tub Party.
Sorry, not even 976 Evil original one.
No,
it's
the
976
sequel.
Evil
Yep.
2.
He likes making sequels.
Yeah.
Scream Queen Hot Tub Party. Sins of Desire. Little Miss Millions. Point of Seduction Body Chemistry 3. Dinosaur Island, Ghoulies 4, Victim of Desire, The Wasp Woman.
Isn't it possible that, like, Ghoulies 4 is one of those where it's like, oh, it's actually better than the original?
No, it is definitely not. Vampirella, not that Vampirella. Stormtrooper, not that Stormtrooper. The Escort 3, The Bear Wench Project, which was made in 2000, and thus I assume is a Bear Witch Project softcore porn.
Yeah.
Crash Point Zero. Let's see. Bear Wench Project 2, Scared Topless. That's in 2001.
Randy, I'm very excited for you that you found this list.
The Bear Wench Project 3, Nymphs of Mystery Mountain. Cheerleader Massacre. Let's see. Busty Cops.
These have taken a little bit of a turn from like just kind of trash horror to what sounds like clearly softcore.
The Witches of Brestwick and The Witches of Brestwick 2, made in the same year, 2005.
Now, Randy, you said you weren't going to read these.
I've skipped a whole bunch.
Oh, okay.
But I want to make sure we get to The Devil Wears Nada. Okay, at some point you started making parodies.
Yes.
But I saw a few. Here we go. Piranaconda. Sexapede. Shark Kansas Women's Prison Massacre. But the movie that got a 9.0...
Is it because there's like one person who rated it?
There must be. Because I looked at the name of it and I'm like, there's no way this is significantly different than the other things he made. And now I gotta find it. Invasion of the Hottie Snatchers.
Oh, well, that is considered a classic.
Yes, his most recent films...
That's a Universal Monsters
were
movie.
Murderbot, not that Murderbot, and Dino Gator.
Not that Dino Gator.
There's only the one Dino Gator.
I wonder, are these like... were those like the sci-fi movie things like Dino Gator, or was he like a knockoff of those? Like
I feel like it's a knockoff
down.
of those.
Yeah.
This man...
So would you say he peaked with Swamp Thing too?
I think he did, yes. This man is 76 years old. He has not made a movie in 2 years. So that for him, that's like a complete failure.
Yeah.
But he made 150 movies.
Randy, I know how sometimes you'll talk about how it's more important that somebody produce a lot of like a good body of work than that they have one or two good things.
Yeah.
Really good things. So this guy might be kind of your ideal.
No, this is a good argument against that. This is the exception that proves the rule.
Oh, I see. Otherwise, you're generally right. But
yes.
in this case.
All right. We also have new printings of Superman, Spider-Man, and Spider-Man, Superman with new covers.
Yep.
And
I believe one of those covers is like a. Is it a redo of the one that had like Venom and Black Superman?
Yes.
Or Black costume Spider-Man and Black costume Superman.
Yes.
But I noticed it's is
foil.
like on a fancy foil cover.
Foil,
it's very
yep.
nice looking.
I like the Jorge Jimenez cover. The yellow background. With
that one's good.
That one's good. Really good.
So yeah, some good covers on them. We do still have the first printings of the Spider-Man Superman one,
Yep.
but these have new covers on them and everything. So among the other stuff this week, Flash number 33, which is the third part end of the first arc for Ryan North.
It's a really good one.
It's really good. It's probably my pick for the week. I really like this book.
I think that of the Ryan North projects I've read, and I've seen some other good stuff from him. He did some very good Fantastic Four work, but I think I might say like his Flash is looking like what may be the best fit for me.
Yes, I think it's one of my favorites, and I actually really like his Fantastic Four. So, Detective Comics, the third part of their Green Arrow, Black Canary story that also ties into a crime fighter who died.
Right.
And they're kind of going back and forth on that.
It is a cool mystery with some of the coolest art I've ever seen from Mikkel Janin.
Yeah. Man, Taylor's killing it on this book, too.
He is. There's a bunch of... There's several scenes that we mentioned, we were talking about off mic, that were like, oh, this is how you do this right. And one of the things I mentioned, though, this is partially the artist's work, is I like how it handles flashbacks.
Yeah.
Sometimes when people do flashbacks to superheroes that are meant to be kind of like their earlier incarnations, like they make the story deliberately overly campy. Like, oh, remember back when we were adventurers back in the early days and it was fun and wacky, and because somebody's trying to make the same dumb comment they've been making since the 80s about how comics got darker, like we know.
Yep.
Instead, yes, Batman in this is wearing this amazing-looking version of like the sort of the classic blue cape and cowl, yellow-backed emblem, and all that stuff. The iconic Jose Luis Garcia Lopez type version, but they still lens the past events with a certain modern seriousness to them. I think they did a great job of it.
There's also it opens with with Green Arrow falling off a building.
Yep.
And there's some really good stuff as Batman's kind of observing. There's a great bit where he's like, I complained to Alfred about Oliver Queen, and how often he would disagree with me in the field. And Alfred responded, it was natural reaction when one was stubborn, opinionated, and unwilling to compromise. He never clarified which one of us he was describing.
Taylor writes the best Alfred, basically.
Yeah.
He is like, he really makes him the heart of the Bat family. But, by the way, Green Arrow is shown to be a badass in this, and Batman's narration about what kind of makes him unique is really cool.
It is really good. There's the moment-to-moment stuff that Taylor does is so good. So that's really fantastic. I love when you can tell, like, when the writer is, like, really going out of their way to sort of build up the characters, and, like, Black Canary's a badass in this, too, but this issue does happen to be, I would say, a Green Arrow focus. Yeah, one of the things I set off, Mike, too, when you guys was like, I was thinking this week was amazing because I read, like, 5 really good books all in a row, and it's all my favorite DC books. It was Flash, Detective Comics, and then Superman, which Superboy Prime has won me over, finally. I remember you were a hard time coming on this one. I was.
Well, I like that they sort of flip things here.
Yeah.
I was expecting one thing and I got another thing completely.
A character from a 90s era DC comic becomes a major... goes from supporting character to the issue's big guest star.
Yeah.
I wonder if just a character that Williamson liked.
So I have a philosophy or a theory about this.
Yes.
Which I think we can sort of say this character is from the 90s comic The Power Company.
Yes.
A lesser known Kurt Busiek comic. He is also, Josh Williamson is also writing Iron Man. Iron Man has had multiple characters from
Thunderbolts,
a Busiek 90s joint.
You think he was
show up. I think he's a fan.
He's a Busiek fan. Yep.
And he's integrating them very organically, though.
Yeah,
I feel
for
like
sure.
They're turning up with very reasonable ways. I like this kind of stuff where you're being sort of additive, remembering cool bits of history that kind of were forgotten. It'd be like if they brought back Sleepwalker and did a cool story with it.
He didn't bring him in to kill them or anything like that.
Right,
he brings them in to use them.
Yep.
Yeah.
His like I said, I only have like limited knowledge of Thunderbolts, but there's a version of Citizen V that's been running around in the last few issues of Iron Man, and he's like really cool. He'll like good look, cool, interesting things going on with his backstory. We don't yet know all of what's going on with it, but I was like, it's the exact kind of thing I remember from when I was a kid that kind of got me into Marvel Comics, where I'd read some random issue, and I'd be like, oh, I don't know who Paladin is, but he's super cool in this, and it makes me want to know more about him. I want to see him used more. I'm like, that is what I want all writers to be able to pull off.
Yeah, it's funny. Williamson's run on Superman I thought was interesting but kind of weird. And now I'm at the point of like, if they do an omnibus of this, I'll pick it up.
I think I kept waiting for like, yes, there were some weird directions in it. Like, the fact that it opened with Luthor giving Superman like his company while he was in prison, saying like, here, use all my wealth and power for good, was kind of a weird kickoff. But he never dropped the ball.
No.
I kind of kept waiting for it to happen. And I honestly was thinking about that with the Superboy Prime stuff too. None of us loved him from his Super Killer days.
No.
The way that they have been handling his redemption, where he's like aware of it.
He's aware of his redemption arc.
He'll say like, I'm on a redemption arc. He'll warn people. He's like, you might not want to read the issues where I did the bad stuff and stuff like that. He's like, I kind of want you to root for me.
There's a few panels in this one where we actually see what he did, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot he did all that.
Yeah.
I'm fairly impressed because like I feel like he's actually not real aggressively getting in the face of, say, Jeff Johns about the things he did.
Yeah.
But he kind of is, too, in a way I like, kind of like, yeah, that sucked, we're going to undo that.
Yeah.
But he's doing it in this sort of way that feels natural for the character. He's not just having it happen instantly. And I think this may actually end up saving this character.
Yeah.
I agree.
I also like that he's working in a comic shop.
Yeah,
they keep on doing
silly thing,
great references in there, or you'll see him arguing with a customer, and he's like, of course they should be married.
Yeah,
and we're like, we don't know what they're talking about, but it sounds very much like a Pete MJ thing.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Absolute Wonder Woman number 20 continues to be really good. This is the end of that 5-part Zatanna story.
Yep. I haven't read this yet, but their version of Zatanna has been great. And
it's a very satisfying, and I think they're leading up to building the Absolute Cheetah.
Oh, cool.
Escape comes back this week. There is a trade paperback the first 6 issues.
Rick Remender's World War II story.
It's a World War II story, but with bats and anthropomorphic animals.
Right, very much like Black Sad, and stuff like that.
Well, number 7 that starts the new story arc here has a very big happening thing that's been promised since the very beginning.
Is it still kind of guy behind enemy lines?
Yes.
I'm an issue or two behind now.
It's fantastic. I'm not always the biggest Remender fan. This has Daniel Kuhn on this beautiful artwork, too.
Some career best for him.
This is probably my favorite Rick Remender project. I really liked it. If you are a Remender fan, you should definitely pick it up. Amazing Spider-Man Spider-Verse number 2. We all really like this. Surprised how much we all like this one.
Which one?
Spider-Verse number 2.
Yes. I was surprised how much I liked the first one.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect it to necessarily continue.
Yeah.
That happens sometimes. Somebody will write a good first issue and then it doesn't have a great through line. But here, the very thing I liked about the first issue, which was that there's a good idea. Miles gets the Spider-Verse characters together because he's like, individually y'all have done some great stuff. You've fought some great fights. But like we're also kind of all inexperienced. We don't know how to work well together when we need to. We could stand to train as a team. I was like, okay, that's a fun premise to get a bunch of goofy spider characters together. But the fact that like Norman Osborn was like the secret co-partner, and of course attacks them in the first episode or first issue, not attack. He's like, I'm still helping you, but it's kind of like when Doc Ock was Spider-Man.
He's the mean sensei.
He is a mean sensei who is like, I'm going to help you out, and I'm going to, for your own good, I'm going to like harangue you about your weaknesses.
I'm going to do it go about it in a very Norman Osborn style.
Yes. And in this issue, what?
The writer of this, I was like, who is this writer? Joe Kelly is listed as like co-creator of the concept, but the writer is Jordan Morris, who did the sci-fi podcast Bubble.
Okay.
And he's also known for At Midnight, where he was a contestant and a writer-producer. So
a second podcaster this week?
He's a podcaster and comedian.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got to say, he's doing good stuff. This opens with a training sequence that has a cool surprise use of a Spider Slayer in it. And Spider Boy, the kind of youngest of the group, is going up against it and is having some trouble. And they're like, remember the flashcards? Because Norman Osborn seems like sort of training the kids the way you train some kids sometimes with flashcards. And they're like, Norman, this thing looks too dangerous for him. And he's like, no, let it go. Let him go. It's the only way he'll learn.
I didn't realize who the artist was on this.
The artist, Perry Perez, is doing. We were talking about.
Hold on, I wasn't finished saying what I was saying.
Sorry.
Norman Osborn is like, they're saying it's too dangerous. Somebody goes to the door to like open up their sort of danger room and gets a shock, and they, like has electrified the doorknob, the door handles, and he's like nobody gets in until the test ends.
Yep.
So he is a super fun character. And yes, as you were saying, the art is really exceptional, even though at a first glance it doesn't quite look it.
No, but there's little details in there that we noticed throughout. There's like, he's telling stories that are beyond just the script.
Yep.
And the script, the writing, the moment-to-moment writing is really good.
Yep. So you pointed out, Randy, your favorite sequence is where Spider-Woman, who's like sort of both the skeptic and the den mother of the group, she's like watching over him, and she's like, I'm watching you, Norman. I will blast you apart with my, what is her venom blast?
She and Norman they're the parents.
They're the parents.
And she's
like she's the skeptical one, and he's kind of, I guess, he would be like the aggro dad.
Yeah, but you know what this reminds me of is, and Nick will know this, the Generation X, the Banshee, Emma Frost relationship. But also, just want to say, the writer, Jordan Morris, also wrote 4 episodes of Teen Titans Go. So he's a comedian who also has a foot in the superhero and the animation world.
That's interesting.
And it really shows. Like, I this is one of those things, like, this is his first book I've read, and I will definitely look out for his name on other stuff.
Yeah. When we were talking about this over lunch, Randy, I was saying that the things it's doing right remind me of when I've seen episodes of, not Teen Titans Go, ironically, but just the Teen Titans cartoon from the early 2000s.
Yeah.
It reminds me of what worked about that, which is it can be kind of goofy at times, but it's not afraid to have some stakes and like let the characters kind of have some serious moments too.
Yep.
And yes, the Norman, basically the parents' night out at the bar is really good.
Yeah.
It's a great side sequence.
Yep. Second issue of the Image book Corpse Night, which was sort of a weird fantasy book.
Horror fantasy.
Set during in medieval France, and featuring a undead dad coming back to protect his daughter as a knight, and go on a quest to find Joan of Arc.
The final issue of Planet of the Apes versus Fantastic Four.
I really liked this. I thought this ended well. There's a lot of neat bits, both for I think OG Planet of the Apes fans, but also just cool bits for Reed and the rest of them. Like, there's a bit where Dr. Zaius, the kind of like shady, head scientist or whatever of the ape world. He has the Thing's powers, and the Thing is like, I guess like. He's like, why are you so eager to get your powers back? He's like, this form is like pretty monstrous, and he's like, that's he's basically like, that's my cross to bear. He's like, I don't wish it on anyone.
Yeah,
and but he's also like, I've made my peace with it, and like, there's like a bunch of little good bits of writing in there.
Johnny taking his powers back from the general is also pretty good.
Yep. There's a bunch of good moments. I think for sure, old school Planet of the Apes fans should check this out because it also evokes a bunch of good FF stuff.
For sure. Rocketeer the Island number 3, Kong finally shows up after being teased, and also another Skull Island denizen turns up.
Nice. I haven't read this one yet.
It's a lot of fun.
I've been enjoying
really
the
enjoying
series.
it. Quiet Place, Storm Warning number 3. This is early days of Quiet Place. There's an island where one of them is basically trying to cut off all the bridges. The other people are like, this is just hype. You don't need to destroy all our connections to the mainland.
Yeah.
But we know that he does, and he's right. But we're not sure if he's going to succeed at it.
Right.
Really nice art by Ryan Kelly.
Yeah, I still continue to like the kind of unique situation they put these people at, where they're where does it take place? Mississippi?
I don't remember exactly where. I thought it was like
they're like an island that like if they can like isolate themselves because the creatures can't swim,
right,
they can be safe. But it's like information is sketchy But you have like sort of the rural like folk most of whom are pretty decent folk in this one.
Yeah.
Making their stand. Mm-hmm. There's just a touch of Tremors in it.
A little bit. Wonder Man number 3, which has Grim Reaper and Hellcat, and there's a Hollywood mystery going on. Sentry number 3, which is Paul Jenkins returning to his sort of psychologically tortured character.
Yep.
This one's dark.
It is. The issue is literally formatted around him having to take his dog in to have him put to sleep.
That is a weird thing to do.
It is like it feels like Paul Jenkins is working some stuff out.
And he keeps talking through about Leica and how Leica's died in space, and I'm like,
that was the Russian space dog.
I'm like, man, I don't know that I want to hear about dead dogs for 3 issues in a row.
Yeah, but it is like it can. You certainly would not mistake Sentry for Superman. I guess I'll say this.
Yeah. It is weird how he just sort of treats him as if he's integrated back in the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, that is odd, and I don't know.
It feels like an alternate world, basically.
Yeah, like where he... Because, didn't he, like, have to get banished or something?
I thought so, but apparently not.
All right, whatever.
Infernal Hulk has the Infernal Hulk going up against the X-Men.
It was really good.
That was a good issue,
It was a very standout issue for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought there were some interesting themes there. Nick, we talked about this off mic, where Infernal Hulk is, like, sort of trying to, it seems like, call the mutants to him because he's controls monsters.
Right, right.
And literally the X-Men have to have like a debate. They're like, why is he looking after us? He's like, haven't we fought all these years and decades to prove that we're not monsters? So why does this king of monsters want us?
Right.
They're like, what's going on? And I think Cyclops, the way he and all the other characters talk about it was well handled. To some degree, everybody is there to show up to get their ass whooped by the Infernal Hulk.
Sure.
It's true.
But this was, I think, one of the more interesting encounters.
And then it leaves in the spot where I was like, I was hoping we would get to. So, I'm excited to see what comes next.
The X-Men book, number 30, wraps up the 5-part Danger Room story they've been doing. I really like this one. I thought it was a really good finale. Also, really gorgeous artwork on this. But I like their Cyclops, who's kind of a badass and is a tactical leader. And I like what they did with Beast here. I like what they did with Psylocke. Everybody
Jed
gets cool
McKay
moments.
Tuesday.
Yep. The Peril of the Brutal Dark, the Ezra Kane sort of Indiana Jones meets noir that Vertigo's been doing. I
want to catch up on this.
I've enjoyed it. Nick, you've been...
I fell off, unfortunately.
Nick, you were its biggest supporter.
I know, I was, and then...
Now you're its biggest hater.
It's true.
No, but yeah, I'm behind on it as well.
I just fell behind.
Maybe one to read in trades, but I was pretty into Chris Condon's book last week. His of the Earth or whatever it was called.
Yep, of the Earth. Yep.
And then Justice League Unlimited continues the amnesty for supervillains, which opens with Jim Gordon yelling at Batman about how could you possibly do this?
I read the first issue of that, and I remember liking it, but I haven't read this one yet. I need to check that out.
This has them going up against a sort of a third-rate villain called Neutron, and on their team they include Lex Luthor, Starro, and Dr. Polaris.
Nice. I believe I remember Neutron from the DC Who's Who book.
That's probably about right.
I don't know him.
But he's powerful enough to throw down against those villains plus Captain Marvel plus Wonder Woman, so and the Flash. Anything else? I missed any single issues?
There's the second part of Rick Veitch's Swamp Thing reprint.
Oh, right, yeah.
That started with the Swamp Thing meets Jesus, but I'm going to start calling it Swamp Thing versus Jesus just because this comics. Randy, check it out. This is Tom Mandrake did this issue, and it looks like his Spectre era stuff.
Is that Constantine?
Yep, it's Constantine
really good.
in there. There's actually I can see there's a bunch of DC lore in this. There's
Kronos?
Kronos the
Kronos, okay.
Time
Yep.
Master, Timekeeper.
Yep.
Man, Mandrake draws a really cool looking Swamp Thing.
Yeah, that looks like the Wicker Man there.
He does.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening,
Wow.
but the Shining Knight is in it.
This is gorgeous to look at.
Yeah, so I'm interested to read it. I think that's the only other one I was going to mention, though.
Okay. There are some trades this week. The Battleworld trade, that's the Christos Gage Secret Wars.
You really enjoyed
that I really
that.
enjoy. This is one of my favorite things I've read. The classic Camelot 3000 with Brian Bollandard is in print.
By the way, that what's it called?
Battleworld.
Battleworld. I think it's like, especially if you're a fan of like sort of Bronze Age Marvel, like 80s era, maybe tipping into 90s.
For sure.
There's a bunch of cool call-outs in it, and like somebody who clearly loves that era. So if you're one of those people, you should check it out.
DC Finest collects Deadman in a collection called How Many Times Can One Guy Die? And then they also did the second volume of Peter David's Supergirl in a DC Finest.
Is that the only Deadman collection?
Second one.
Second one. Okay. It looked, when I was flipping through it, I don't know if Neil Adams was still drawing it, but if not, it was like one of those. Like there were some people
Similar
like
guy.
Jim Aparo or some of those people who were kind of close enough,
Okay.
or Jose Luis Garcia Lopez,
Yep.
and depending on who was inking them, could look quite a bit like that. But I just saw there's some really good art in it.
We have a DC Pride hardcover, collecting some of the previous DC Pride stuff.
Yep.
J.G. Jones's image book Dust to Dust, a sort of post-apocalyptic one, gets a collection. Escape Volume 1 I already mentioned. 5 Gears in Reverse, which is a new criminal book. This starts with the one-shot story that we talked about back in December that is like
A really good story
one of
about-
the best criminal stories been done.
Yeah, one of his recurring characters. He's kind of like small time.
Tracy Lawless, whose dad was an enforcer. And is Tracy the one who comes back from war? Is he or is that somebody else?
I think that's somebody else.
I think it's somebody else. That's his brother.
It's his brother. Who
Yeah.
I don't know if it's Tracy or if it's.
Well, Teague Lawless is the dad. Is he the guy who maybe was in war and came back? And Tracy is the son. Anyway, he's kind of a screw-up son. He was Leo's friend. Leo's the lead character in the first one.
Yeah.
But he's kind of the screw-up who's a little bit violent.
Right. And his plan is to go to, like, he's at this casino where this high roller, he gets the room he's going to be at, and he's just going to rob him or something,
He's
right?
hired by the guy he owes money to.
Oh, okay.
That guy is like, you can clear your debt with me.
Yeah.
Go. There's a guy who's playing poker in this big tournament. We're going to give you a key to his room. You just wait for him there and you rob him when he gets back.
Right.
Which starts out great, and then things decelerate from there.
Yep. So it was a great standalone. And so what you have told me is this graphic novel begins with that standalone and then does a series of stories that are followed.
There are 4 more chapters, yeah. And it's great. I really, really enjoyed this. I enjoy every Phillips and Brubaker collaboration, especially Criminal, and this is a particularly good one. So worth a read, whether you've read Criminal before or not.
I feel like there's just not even a challenger that's like really up there. Ed Brubaker writes the best crime comics
For sure.
of our times. There's just no doubt about it.
And then there's a
Rucka.
There's a Stranger Things and Dungeons & Dragons Library Edition. So big oversized collection of that. All right, let's take a break, and then we'll talk about some TV and escape rooms, like we always do. All right, just one trailer to talk about real quick, and then we'll jump over to talking about escape room and TV. But they dropped a trailer for Vought Rising, which is the prequel to The Boys. It takes place in the 50s.
Yep.
It is Soldier Boy, played by Jensen Ackles, and Stormfront by Aya Cash. They're all characters who've shown up in The Boys as older versions. The Soldier Boy is the father of Homelander.
Yep. So wait, if this is set in like the 40s, 50s, I guess 50s, The Boys, and The Boys is roughly in the present.
Yep.
Are those characters like very old, or there's superhero things?
Compound V version 1 makes you immortal, basically.
Okay.
And both of these individuals have that specific version of it.
So this is like the original 4 superheroes. Bombsight's another one.
I didn't even realize Compound V, that's their trigger for superheroes.
Yep.
There was the original one.
Every single superhero have powers have that?
Yes. There's Vought is a corporation that basically they gave kids this Compound V. The parents would bring the kids in, and then they got superpowers out of it, and they made them into celebrities. There's a whole thing under there with that.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see how this goes. I really like The Boys. Really like the spinoff of Gen V. In fact, my big gripe about Gen V is I feel like when they lost that one actor, they kind of didn't know what to do with it. And season 2 I liked, but they decided not to renew for season 3, and they get a very small part in The Boys finale. I thought they could have done a lot more with them, and I'm disappointed in that. So I'm bummed that we're not getting more Gen V, but at least we're still not done with The Boys as a universe.
I really enjoyed Jensen Ackles, so I'm glad to see him get more.
Yep. Yeah.
And he's an asshole as Soldier Boy, but he's meant to be.
Well, I think we're going to see him a little before he gets corrupted, maybe.
Yeah, maybe so.
But it's interesting to watch. I really do not like The Boys comics. It is darker and meaner than I want it to be. But The Boys show I really liked.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for this.
Do we know if Kripke's involved in this?
I don't know. And actually, that would make a difference, because Kripke is the main reason. Not the Crypt Keeper. Eric Kripke.
Eric Crypt Keeper.
Eric Crypt Keeper. So it's a murder mystery in the 1950s.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
During the early days of Vought.
Is it a miniseries then?
It is a miniseries,
Okay.
yes.
It says he's the creator. But
Yeah, so I don't think he's even the showrunner, it looks like. He's not listed as one of the directors. Well, he's not one of the directors.
Paul
anyway.
Grelong is developing it. I don't know who that is.
Paul Grelong is best known for Revolution and working on The Boys. So he was at Hawaii Five-0 for a long time.
Okay.
We'll see.
We'll see. Hopefully there's some involvement with the previous, but we'll see.
Yeah. But yeah, not much to say about it. It's a good looking trailer. It's a little darker.
Trailer.
All right, so if you're like me and you haven't seen this trailer and don't know who any of these characters are, what I saw in it was looked like Captain America Super Soldier type stuff. I saw very specifically a black guy they were doing experiments on that was kind of, I think, meant to evoke Tuskegee experiments where he's screaming in pain. And then there was a little bit of we accidentally created a black super soldier and he's going to beat our asses kind of vibe. It
kind of looked that way.
I wasn't sure if
I don't know if he's a known individual. I don't know if they talked about him.
I don't either.
Because Bombsight, yes, we know him.
Yeah, I don't think that's a character we know. And he could be related to one of the other characters going down the road.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
They like to do a lot of those.
There was a kind of a cute blonde. Was she sort of a nurse or was she
She
one of those?
kind of a nurse, yeah. But I don't know
what do they call the sort of showgirls in the World War II? What do they call that?
She was a whack.
Like the Bob Hope kind of entertainment.
What are they called?
WACs, the Women's Auxiliary.
Yeah,
something.
maybe that. I didn't know she was supposed to be part of that, or or was just a nurse, but she looked like she was part of the PR of maybe the whole campaign or something like that.
Yeah.
I saw them doing trying out, I guess, the formula. It looks like you see somebody go into a room with a cow in it, and then there's just an explosion of blood on the wall.
Yep.
Lots of explosions of blood.
That's actually every recap they do for The Boys. So the running joke is they show all the bloody explosions.
Yeah,
that's what here's one before bloody explosion montage.
Did The Boys have a good ending, Rainey?
Yes.
Okay.
I was quite pleased with the ending.
Okay. Some
people were not pleased, and those people are wrong.
I've seen some of the backlashes, although I can definitely sense that some of them is just the boys got woke or whatever. I'm okay, whatever.
Were those the big fans of Homelander? Is that
probably, yeah.
I saw at least one person with the take that I assume is kind of wacky, where he's like, time for all of you to come crawling back and apologize to Garth Ennis because his comic was better than the show could ever be.
Nope.
I don't think that.
Nope.
I think he might even think that a little bit.
Yeah, put down the pint, man.
He's like, this shit made me a ton of money. I don't know what you're talking about.
He's like, yeah.
All right, Dave, tell us about the cabin escape room and Escape Hour Austin.
Oh, yeah. So I've done, I feel like maybe 6 or 8 escape rooms over the years, but I slowed down on doing them because I kept losing. After opening with a really great first one that we did, Randy, that was the Spy one, and we won that with like a few minutes to spare. Very exciting, very cool.
Yep.
I ended up, I guess, just being in too many loser groups.
I'm just saying,
you know what? I was in a lot of those groups.
You've been with us, and we've never lost.
But
Did you do the Star Trek one with me, Dave?
Yes.
That one we lost.
That was tough.
Oh, okay. Well,
but I also felt like it was. I felt like they were trying out an idea, and I felt like the idea wasn't refined. Like I felt like they actually needed to polish it.
I agree.
And I felt the same way when I did the Satanic Panic one. That was the Alamo Draft Houses. I think first and maybe only time they've ever run an escape room.
I did one. What was a Breaking Bad one? We lost that one too, but it was good.
I've had fun along the way.
Yep.
But I've also realized like I kind of don't always have fun because I'm not great at like the big picture stuff. I can usually work out the small puzzles. I'm good at clue finding and all that stuff. So I don't think I'm a liability to the team, but I'm not going to be the person who puts it all together. That said, a year ago, we did a staff one.
Yep.
That was the Murder on the Orient Express.
Yep. And we brought
had
a secret
two,
weapon.
I feel like we had two ringers.
We brought Jeanette and Serena.
Jeanette and Serena were ready to destroy it.
Yep. And they did.
And they did.
Yep.
And so all I had to do was to be there to like say like I found like a blue dossier or something like that.
So did you have some ringers?
Cut ahead. Yes, somewhat. One of them like does escape rooms like, as their main hobby.
Okay.
I saw that she had a passport that was stamped every time she had done one, and then just kind of flipping through it, it looked like at least 15 or 18.
Was it specific to this location, or was it?
So they've done multiples, multiple locations, and this one, which was Randy, did you write it down? Because Escape Austin.
Escape Hour Austin.
Escape Hour Austin, yeah. Which is I want to say kind of in like the what did I say? Like the Tech Ridge area or somewhere around in there. And I had never been, and honestly, it was in sort of a little weird office park, and like kind of fell off the beaten path, and I'm like, this is going to be kind of a cheap one, or something like that. But it seemed as good as any of the others I've been to, and then it did something very cool that I didn't expect. It was actually scary. It was a horror-themed one called The Cabin, and it was actually scary.
Well, you said that you could scare it up if everyone agreed to it, correct?
Right, and I don't know if they just chose to do that because we had some veterans in it, like if it could have been scarier. Because I know that Liz and I talked about it afterwards, and we've been doing Scare for a Cure, the haunted house in
where you get blood thrown at
Elgin,
you.
where you get bloody for like 6 or 8 years or whatever.
Yep.
And we both agreed this was scarier than that's ever been.
Oh, wow.
And see, the thing is, like, it's not like scary. They do jump scares and you get blood splattered on you and all that stuff, but it's not like really scary.
Right.
Here, there were like, because normally you know when something is going to happen. You're kind of entering a dark room and you're like, well, something's probably going to jump out at me.
Yeah.
Here, we would be going about the escape room and they would do random door slams, shrieks. Someone reaches through the wall and grabs your ankle. We were told you could be touched, but you can't touch them. Typical haunted house rules.
Yep.
And basically, so there was lots of just incidental scary things that would, when you were absolutely not prepared, loud sounds and things.
Okay.
So just on a jump scare basis, it worked. The other thing, dimly lit the whole time. We were all given these little electric tea candles to look around in. And sometimes we would find a way to turn a light on in a room, or we would negotiate with the little evil girl who was like in the walls, had been trapped in the walls, and we were trying to rescue her though. We would say what was her name? Maddie. She'd be like, here, let me help you. And like some lights would dimly come on in the room, and we'd be like, thanks, Maddie. But anyway, the basic premise, without getting into the lore too much, was that this girl had been taken to like the shadow realm in this cabin, and we were trying to find her. And there were various puzzles and stuff related to getting her out that mostly involved like some cool, like weird, like children's games and like scrawls she had on the walls of the cabin, and to determining that there were locks to open, there were secret rooms to be found, a lot of the typical escape room stuff, but it was all lensed through this. And whenever you do as an escape room, there's almost always somebody there who's kind of overseeing it to give you hints and things.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they kind of integrate them into the lore. So if you're doing a secret agent thing, they'll be like, agents, focus your attention on the bookshelf. We think that's where the next clue might be, or something like that. Here at the girl herself was our clue giver.
That's kind of cool.
And so when we were stuck, or like focusing on something, she'd be like, "Why do you keep looking in the chest?" She's like, "There's nothing there," and she'd say it in like the creepiest way possible. Sure. But it was pretty cool and different. And then here's where I think the thing that probably scared me more than anything else. We're in one of these rooms. We found our way to like one or two little secret rooms already, and we're in there, and I we're working on some puzzle or something like that, and I hear like one of the people in the group startled. They're like, "What the shit?" or whatever, and like I turn around, and like there's like the ring girl is crawling into the room, and I mean like an exact version of the ring girl, long hair, spindly, spider walking, and all that stuff. One of and is clearly one of their sort of the people who work there. But I was very impressed with her like physical acting abilities. She would like sometimes come in, and it was clearly a creepy presence, but she would sometimes come and like then she would slowly point to something, and that was like our pay attention to this dipshits moment. But she never broke character, and at one point when she would then like kind of leave the room, and I no doubt went out through some little secret door. We never saw it happen, but she would do that.
Okay.
At one point when she left the room, she kind of rolled over backwards super slowly like a gymnast would, but it was like in Voldo? In
Soul Calibur.
Soul Calibur. Remember when he would like kind of just roll around creepily?
Oh, I remember.
It was like Voldo. It was like evil ring girl Voldo. Anyway.
Well, it sounds like the production values were pretty high.
Pretty good, yeah. There was like a creepy TV involved, a puzzle that involved some old DVDs lying around that were all ones that had numbers in it ultimately to open a lock. So it was like, but I feel like it was like 310 to Yuma, 48 hours, all stuff like that. And once we had to figure out how to match them and put them in the right order, that would give us the code for it.
That's pretty cool.
At one point, we opened this panel. And we found like what would essentially be like a basement area. It was like you had to get down on your hands and knees to crawl in. You couldn't get up much higher than hands and knees in this thing. And there was like some symbols scrawled on the walls, and a little puzzle with a chain that was wrapped around on the upper part of it, where you had to move a key along the chain and figure out something to get it to a lock. And I foolishly, like, went in as, like, the first person. I'm like, because I was right there when it opened, and I was like, am I doing this? And they're like, yeah, go ahead. And so I was like, oh, I guess I'm going to get my workout for the day. I'm going to, like, make my back hurt or something like that. But ultimately, like, 2 other people came in there with me, because there was some things that required multiple people in it. And then we were trying to figure something out, and the ring girl came in. She, like, crawled into the thing with us, which was very cool and creepy. Eventually, that led to an interesting bit of puzzling where the group, having found another chamber, like, above us that would be basically another lost room, had to communicate through the floorboards to us down below, and they were, like, shouting out, like, is there a symbol that looks like, sort of like an insect? And then we'd be like, yeah, and they'd be like, what color is it? And so we'd be talking through the room as we tried to work out the puzzle together.
What was the amount of time you had to solve it?
It's like an hour, like most of them.
Okay.
We ended it with like 4 minutes to spare.
Wow.
And we won, and I could tell I was like, just, none of us had, they take your phones, so we didn't have our phones with us. And I could sense we were closing in on it. I was like, I think we're going to lose this. And she was like, kind of prompting us. Like, there was like, actually, I think her dad was like okay in it, but maybe had been possessed by a spirit. Because she's like, hurry, daddy's coming. And we're like, shit. So
you don't want that.
Yeah. Anyway, I had a lot of fun with it. It was the first time I realized you could do one of these ones and make it scary, but also very fun. And so, yeah, I give these guys high marks. I would do another one of theirs. When I was looking at the story behind it, or like their page, it looked like the majority of their what do they call those experiences?
Yeah.
Their experiences were scary. There was a Sherlock Holmes one, which I'm sure was not, but
you could make a Sherlock Holmes scary.
That's true. I think I heard it was like a little bit maybe young Sherlock Holmes, or no, not young Sherlock Holmes, but like Guy Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie. Okay.
Guy Ritchie kind of Sherlock Holmes. By the way, there's something that they did, and that was kind of funny. That was like a way of kind of getting you into the event well before it actually began. So I got there first at the thing, and it was during the middle of the day. There was like nobody else there, so it was like kind of no cars around. And I was like, "Is this the right place?" I'm like, "I guess it is the right place." So I'm walking up, and about 10 feet out from the door, it flings open, and one of the people who work there is like, they're like, "Are you with the researchers?" And I'm like, "We need you. We need you in here now." And so they were immediately role playing it and stuff like
That's
that.
pretty cool. I like
and then
that.
I saw her do that with every single other person who showed up, terrifying them with the flung open door. I'm like, how do they not break their door? Anyway, but yeah, very good time.
I know we've all watched. Nick and I watched all of it, and you watched a couple episodes of The Boroughs on Netflix.
Yep.
We've been talking about Widow's Bay,
Yes.
which we all love, and the latest episode was really good.
Kind of an interesting era for sort of low key streaming horror.
Horror comedy.
And I guess tonight we're getting 2 episodes.
2 episodes of Widow's Bay, yeah.
Yeah.
So
The Boroughs is a different kind of beast, though. It's
It
a
is.
Netflix show.
it's a Netflix show. It takes place in an old age community called the Boroughs, like
Yep.
a
a desert retirement home.
Yeah, everybody has their own house.
Yep.
And there's a central area that's
It is neat looking. It kind of looks a little retro 50s kind of.
yeah, and
cool.
it's like a resort kind of living kind of thing. And so Alfred Molina. It starts with Alfred Molina's character, who is an engineer whose wife died after the two of them had purchased this house together.
Yep.
So he's now a widower.
And he kind of couldn't get out of the contract.
He's sort of reluctantly going in. His daughter is played by God, what is it? What's her name? She's from
Hunger Games and a
yeah.
bunch of...
I'm looking for her name. Jenna Malone.
Jenna Malone.
See, I know her
Okay,
from what's the Evil Rabbit movie?
Oh, yeah.
Is that about Donnie Darko?
Yes,
Donnie
Donnie
Darko,
Darko.
yeah. Who
was she
She's
in
the
that?
sister in Donnie Darko.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it?
I'm almost sure.
I thought Jake Gyllenhaal's... Maggie Gyllenhaal was his...
I don't.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think so.
I haven't seen Donnie Darko enough
Or
to
is she
remember.
she's definitely. I saw her in something, and I thought it was Donnie Darko where I
But you
first
might
saw
be
her.
right. I can't...
Now I'm curious. So I'm looking to see, because I know I saw her in something, and then I never saw her in much else. But I really liked her in the thing I saw her in. Oh yeah, she's Gretchen Ross in Donnie Darko.
Okay.
Now maybe it's the girlfriend. I thought she was the sister.
Okay. Anyway, we're getting off track here.
No,
the Boroughs.
it's important. Anyway, the Boroughs.
Girlfriend.
The Boroughs has a great cast.
Right, the first person he runs into there is Bill Pullman.
An older Bill Pullman, yeah.
Playing a slightly kind of player kind of dude at the
Yep.
retirement community who kind of
He's
is
got
always looking for the next girlfriend.
There's a
It's
married
a pretty good role for him.
There's a
Yes.
married couple played by Alfred Woodard and Clark Peters.
Yep. Great.
And Clark Peters has been old since he started on The Wire, but he can always play this
Yeah.
weird mix of old to young old.
Yep. He's really
a
good
lot
at
of
this.
a lot of the people in this can do the same. Alfred Woodard can play older or younger.
How do you say
Alfred-
the guy's name?
Clark Peters?
No. Alf. How do you say it?
Alfred Woodard?
Yeah, I've never said his name.
That's the
That's
woman.
the one.
Oh, okay. I guess I don't know who
She's the
everybody
Oscar
is.
winner. That
Yeah, she's been in a
she was
ton
in.
of
Yeah,
stuff.
Who
she
was the
in,
husband?
The husband's Clark Peters
From
from
The Wire.
Yeah.
The Wire,
And he's kind of the intellectual stoner
Yep.
of the group.
Yep.
Well,
and then Gina Davis again. She looks fantastic.
she's great.
Is her husband the guy who's got the stage 4 cancer?
It's
or
her best
whatever?
friend.
It's her best friend. Her friend is
okay.
gay.
I wasn't
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what the deal
Yeah.
was.
And
with
that
them.
guy is another one of just character actor who
Dennis O'Hare.
Dennis O'Hare. He is really good in this.
know what,
He
this
has stage 4 prostate cancer.
Yep.
And he's kind of
he's a
dealing
gay
with
guy
that.
from the 50s basically.
Yeah,
So
but he's also a doctor.
yep.
Now,
And-
this is a comedy, despite the stage 4
Well,
cancer.
it's not a comedy. It's a comedy in the
There's
same
a
way Widow's
lot
Bay
of comedy
is.
in it.
You know what?
You know what? It's close to Stranger Things, and it's produced by the Duffer Brothers.
Yes.
It
yeah.
is Stranger Things, but it's by way of Steven Spielberg.
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure.
And
But
there's
Stranger
also
Things was that
and
too.
A little
Cocoon
bit.
in the sense that it is
Yeah.
also about hey, these people still have very rich inner lives despite their age, and there's an alien.
By the way, Alfred Molina
something.
his character is seeing his dead wife as like a ghost sort of, and his wife is played by Jane Kaczmarek from Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah.
And she's also great in this. The cast overall is phenomenal. And the basics of this are they go to this funeral home, which opens
Wait,
by
funeral home or retirement
not funeral
home?
retirement home.
Yeah.
But we open with seeing a wife who's talking to her husband Ed Begley Jr.
Yep.
who seems to have dementia, and they're on a video call. Not quite sure what's going on, but we see her there's this weird alien creature that
In the background.
drags her into the house,
Yep.
and then Alfred Molina is moving into her house like she died.
Yep.
Right, so there's a question of like, and by the way, y'all have seen this through to the end. I've only seen 2 episodes, but there's like Alfred Molina begins to sort of look into some clues and things after he himself sees some strange stuff, and so there is that sort of a Stranger Things-ish kind of. You remember the bit with the lights in Stranger Things, the Christmas lights?
Yeah.
There's a little bit of that sort of investigatory kind of what strange thing are they going to have to do to figure it out.
It also kind of fits into the same Stranger Things mold where all of these characters are sort of on their own track.
Right.
They're doing different things, and they will all come together as kind of a coalescence.
The first few episodes, what I really liked is that there's a mixture of like Alfred Molina's character settling into this home, and really, he wants out.
He's a prickly dude.
And I really like the way they play Molina's character as kind of a damaged individual who was not good with people.
Yeah.
He's not looking to make friends. He said, like, his wife is the person who was social.
And Bill Pullman is the character who sort of brings them all together.
Yep.
Gina Davis has her own, like, youthful kind of thing going on.
Yep.
There's a different dynamic going on between Clark Peters and Alfred Woodard's character, which we find out later on is a very important element tied into Bill Pullman's character. And I like that it's basically a mix of older characters and what this getting older feels like to them. And like Alfred Woodard was a journalist.
Yep.
And they were both kind of radicals in the 70s. And that Alfred Molina was an engineer, and Wally was a doctor, and so we're getting to see all these characters like in their age, they still have their skills, and there's a like non-supernatural like, oh, this is all them, dealing with getting older and that kind of thing, along with the supernatural of like with Cocoon and anything else of like the possibility of like kind of a de-aging miracle.
Yep.
And there's also very much a sinister cast of like what's going on here, what's the deal with people who run it, which
right, the people who run the place are kind of strange, and there's even like a security guard checkpoint. It's the desert location is kind of weird, and there's even like a secondary location sort of for patients who need more on-site
the
care.
memory care facility.
The manor.
Yeah.
What do they call it? The manor.
Yeah.
But like when you go there, there's something kind of spooky about it.
Yeah.
So they stake out kind of a neat. The retirement home community itself is kind of neat and cool.
Yep.
And but there's also like people who go off to play golf at the golf course. What's his name? Who's the stoner guy?
Clark Peters' character.
Yeah. Whatever his character is. What was he doing off in that like shack in the second
It's
episode?
kind of his getaway.
Yeah, but that becomes very important.
It does become very important.
Was he like growing mushrooms or something there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's something notable that happens there in the second episode. But there's also like they're traveling around on their golf carts and stuff like that, and Alfred Molina has like his the kids got him like
they got him a golf cart.
They got him a golf cart that has like little fiery stripes on it. He's kind of embarrassed about
Dave,
it.
you have not seen the show yet, I don't think.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of stuff around the aliens, not aliens, the creatures or whatever they are.
Yep.
And
I was like, they certainly look like aliens, but I'm like, if you told me like, oh, there's skinwalkers, there's something I've never heard of.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I could see how it could go that way.
I think
too.
the first 2 episodes, they spend a lot more time establishing the characters and like what the situation is like, and it gets weirder and more sci-fi as it goes along.
But I appreciate that ability to breathe and like really focus on characters and give them like a full-fleshed feel of who these people
I agree,
are.
except that I feel like they probably could have a little more weird shit front-loaded because the first couple episodes are a little slower.
Yeah.
And I think they could lose people off of that. And I think by the time it comes to the end, I was very much in love with the show. At the beginning, I was like, this is cute enough, and there's good people in it.
Yeah.
And I think, like, Widow's Bay got me within, like, 2 episodes. This one took me 3 or 4 to really hook me.
Let me ask a question. How many episodes total?
8.
And is it a standalone season?
It is a standalone show.
Oh, really?
I don't believe they'll do a sequel.
Well, I mean, there is potential for...
Really?
Yeah, you could definitely do more.
It felt to me like something... Well, I don't know what the overall, of course, big picture stuff is, but, like, it seemed to me like something that could continue.
Yeah.
I don't know where they would go. I guess they'll figure something out, but
I think it's one of the best things Netflix has done in a while.
it's really good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Yeah. And then, Nick, you and I have watched the first two episodes of Apple's Maximum Pleasure Guaranteed.
And another successful show, at least for me, from Apple.
I'm liking it. I need to know where it's going, but I'm definitely interested enough to keep watching.
I think I just kind of fell for the main character. She's a hot mess.
Tatiana Maslany is great.
Yeah.
And she's playing a single mom she's in the midst of the conclusion of a divorce from her husband, played by Jake Johnson.
Yep.
Who has a new wife, and they hate each other.
Yep.
And she has a daughter, and she's been sort of trying. She's at work. She's a fact checker, which is a job that could get eliminated by AI.
Yep.
But she is also in line for a big promotion, and they're in California.
I believe it is, and I believe Jake Johnson is wanting to move.
He's wanting to move to like.
It's not. It's like Idaho
or
something along those lines. And she's like, "Why the hell would I want to live in Idaho? You can't do this. You can't take." So she is a hot mess, and she's having the best mom.
She's having a relation. Well, she's actually a really good mom. They show her being a really good mom, but she is dealing with a lot of stress, and she's the way she blows off steam is with a relationship with this cam boy.
Yep.
And then that goes south in the first episode, and it seems like maybe there was a murder that she witnessed, or maybe it's a scam.
I love the actor or actress who plays the cop.
Yeah, she's really good.
She's amazing, and kind of her deadpan.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we've seen the whole picture of this.
Yeah.
But the way they kind of frame the second episode and kind of flashback to another part of the Camboy story, I thought was really interesting. All the performances are good. The production value is.
This is a pure like crime story. There's no supernatural science fiction elements. It is just a crime story.
What's the overall tone like? Dark comedy.
Dark comedy. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
I like the people she works with.
Yeah,
like her underlings.
The characters are all good. The settings are good. The way it's filmed is really good. I am curious to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm excited. Man, Tuesday nights have gotten
it's a lot of stuff.
It's a lot of stuff to watch again.
I was thinking that Widow's Bay was supposed to be a Wednesday night thing.
I know, but
How is it? Is it a time
put it
thing?
up early.
Yeah,
they put it up on Tuesday at like 9.
Well, that's not really Tuesday, then, is it?
Well, 9. It's a Tuesday.
Sorry, that's not Wednesday.
No, it's
Right.
Tuesday.
But I don't know if this is a time, time zone thing or whatever.
I mean,
It's
I
midnight
assume
somewhere.
they did that last week, so I assume.
Yeah, we don't know if they'll do it every
complaining.
week. It could be they dropped it early last week.
But I'm prepping to run a role-playing game tonight. I don't know if I have time to watch 2 hours episodes.
And I'm playing a role-playing game tonight, so I don't know if I'll have time. I'll have time. I'll just watch it late. I'll stay up late and watch it.
You're like me sometimes. You just press play on TV.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so some good stuff. I also want to mention that Game Changer Season 8 started and was hilarious, and if folks aren't watching Dropout, they should be watching Dropout.
By the way, last week's Widow's Bay ended on a really interesting cliffhanger with lots of sort of interesting stuff to come.
Yeah.
So
I think
I'm very fascinated to see. I want to know why they released these two back to back. They must be connected or something.
The episodes are getting better and better.
Yeah.
And the physical comedy in the last episode
was spectacular.
I died.
Yeah.
You know what? The relevant song from the party last night? I threw that on the store playlist, on one of the new playlists. And when it came on, I was like getting such crazy flashbacks to that episode.
Yeah.
But also, that episode, despite having some very, very funny stuff, also had a few very bits of haunting imagery.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yep. All right. That'll do it for us for this week. We'll be back next week with more we may not. I think we are. Nick will not be here next week.
That's true.
But Dave and I will probably still podcast.
Yeah, we may soldier on.
Unless it's a crazy week.
Yep.
And so, one way or the other, we'll be back. And until that time, yo, Joe.
Roguecast is a weekly podcast broadcast from Rogues Gallery Comics and Games in Round Rock, Texas. You can find us online on Facebook and at www.roguesgallerytx.com and email us comments or questions at roguesgallerytx@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.